Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome back to this live. If you like, you can say hello to know where you're coming from. That would be great. Wait just a few minutes if the rest will join. Okay. Buenas, buenas. Hola. Great, great, great. You always, for those that haven't joined before and don't know me, my name is Giovanna Bernal. I'm a Panama attorney with more than 20 years of experience, founder of Prime Solutions Tax and Legal, which is a law firm in Panama that offers visa services, relocation, real estate, and advisory, accounting, taxes, wealth planning, and so on. We basically are a one-stop shop where you as an expat or investor can visit and stay here, or if you want to have Panama as a plan B, we are here to help you. And you are free, to go to ask all the questions that you want. Many of you are from the US, maybe Europe, Canada, and I will very happy to, answer all the questions that you might have. I can see here from the comments that some of you are from the United States, from California, SM Sparker, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Greetings, Giovanna. There's a question. And also from Italy, maybe. Buonasera a tutti. Ciao. And Alessandro. Uh-huh. And also, I can see here, okay, Miguel, hola, from Florida, Orlando. Okay, great, great, great. So usually most of the persons that join these monthly lives are from US, Canada, but for sure, if you are from a country, feel free to ask your questions that are related, to that situation. In case I speak, sometimes I speak using names of documents that are from the US, because most of the persons that join the meetings are the lives are from the US. But definitely I will be, happy to answer the questions as well. And right now in Panama, it's summertime. It's a good place. We are receiving every week many applicants, because for us, from January to April is like high season. I think it's high season all year round, because people tell me that they don't mind the rain showers during the rainy season. But of course, during your winter time is a good time to visit Panama, because our hot weather, right? It's a very nice tropical place to be, and you'll be in the beaches and exploring Panama. Right now, we don't have many updates in terms of changes for visas. Last week, a new law was approved. It was a permanent residency granted to those that are students, and it's still not so much clear how is it going to be. Stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, follow our social media and our email, the newsletter, because definitely as soon as we get more clarification on this, I will let you know, in case you would like to apply for permanent residency as a student. This is something new that was approved by immigration. The rest of the visa types remain the same as usual. And then, yes, it's a good time to visit Panama for getting ready. 2026, I know it's gonna be your year, and we'll be here for you. Okay, questions. We're ready for questions. Okay, great. Greetings, Giovanna. Hi there. Question: can you recommend a reliable phone service to use in Panama? Is online payment available? Okay, well, that's a very good question. When you visit Panama, you can buy these SIM cards. You can buy them at supermarkets, at our shopping malls, and you could pay them in person. Sometimes you can pay them in person at those shops or at supermarkets as well. They have like online e-pay options. And also, if you have a Panama bank account, you could also pay, or how do we call that, like charge your SIM card to have some credit. Once you're resident, you could also apply for a contract where you could get the monthly payments as well. But if you visit in Panama, not whole round, you could definitely buy a SIM card. Like for example, Multiplaza shopping mall very near our office. You could buy it very easily. We have Tigo. Tigo is a big company, and also Más Móvil Plus Móvil is another option where you could get SIM cards and use WhatsApp. In Panama, we use a lot of WhatsApp. For those that don't know, we communicate through WhatsApp a lot. So if you don't have WhatsApp, download your WhatsApp and communicate with you and also with Panamanians. Hello, hi Roxy. Must I go to the Panamanian consulate to have my document authenticated, or can I take my documents to an apostille? Wonderful question. And this is something that it's up to you in general. But if you ask me for an advice, and if you are in the US, I would suggest you to use a Panama consulate, just because I'm very familiar with how they work. You send them a prepaid envelope to their address with a money order, and they'll send it back to you, authentication through Panama consulate. The benefit is that if you have your FBI and the rest of your documents, the turnaround will be in one envelope. If you do apostille by yourself, you have to send your FBI report to Washington, D.C., Department of State, and the rest through your State Department. So I prefer a consulate, and actually it's the same. I also recommend that if you're familiar with an apostille service near you that is not so expensive and the turnaround is fast, use that one as well. We have clients that they hire an apostille service and it works very well. If you're from Canada, the Panama consulates don't do everything, don't authenticate all documents. Sometimes they will send you to the Foreign Affairs Canada for apostille. And if you're from Europe, apostille is very easy and very accessible to do. They do everything, for you online sometimes. So it really depends. If you're from the US, I prefer, if you are not from a state that has a Panama consulate, use Washington. Or if you are in Florida, use Tampa, Houston. If you're in Texas, Long Beach covered also many states, that are on that area. And New York, Philly, New Orleans. So yeah, you could definitely work through that. Is it difficult for people over 65 to get medical insurance in Panama? Okay, good question. There's a plan. I learned that recently, a few months ago. There are plans or memberships where you can have a doctor, like a general physician, that you can do consultation and also get your laboratory exams. If you pay a monthly fee, there's a list of medical services that you could get from them. Maybe if you need a complex surgery, they won't be able to. In that case, some of the insurance companies will request that you are a resident of Panama and no more than 70 or 75. It depends on the insurance company, to be honest. So if you're looking for a full insurance type of service that covers all the Panama clinics, hospitals, the places where you can do your laboratories, there might be like a final date, for doing that. But if you are looking for just general medical service, you could access a membership plan. Like I know there's one's MediMed in Santa Fe, San Fernando, and there are insurance companies that if you can send me an email, I can send you those contacts that I can share with you. The insurance brokers that have many options for you as well. Like you have Panama, how do you call that? PALIC. PALIC is like Panama sorry, Pan American Insurance. I'm not, I forgot the name, but we call it PALIC. And also we have like Panamanian insurance companies that will cover all the Panama clinics. But I think many expats would just get memberships and do their main things in their home countries because they will still keep their insurance. Do you offer free consultation? Yes, yes. We do offer free consultation. You just have to go to our website and there's a link to schedule a free consultation. Just it's complimentary, it's a discovery call. Usually it will last 30 minutes and we will ask you what are your visa, if you are interested in a visa type, understand a little bit of your situation, advise what's your best visa, get a quote in 24 hours. And then if you're ready to start the process, we start from that. It is usually a type of discovery call and you can ask all the questions that you need. Also, we can help you by email and schedule another consultation. You know, that's not an issue. Can I open a bank account with Visa Tourist? If you have a tourist visa, it depends. Because you know, some of the banks in Panama, they need you to have residency or a letter from an attorney that says your residency is in process. Some others will need you to show a type of next with the country, like you have a rental agreement or you have residency, you are doing some business here, you know, that's the reason. And other banks like Banismo, Banco Aliado, MMG, Banesco, Banco Mercantil, they will accept Banisi, they will accept your bank account opening with a tourist visa in many cases. But you know, try to ask an attorney to give some reference, because sometimes, for example, Banco General is the biggest bank of Panama. We love Banco General because it has Yapi. Yapi is like Zelle, where you, or like this type Wise, that you can make free, almost free payments, like very instant payments. And it's a very good bank. In general, there are a lot of ATMs, but the thing with them is that some branches, I've heard some people go there easily without a visa and get an account. But some other times you go there and they will say, no, we need you to show a rental agreement or residency. And Banismo, the branch we work with, at least, it's very straightforward. You get your account open in one day. And I have other clients that they go by themselves and they also get it done. So it really, and others get frustrated because it wasn't easy. So my advice, if you can, try to ask an attorney to help their staff will go with you and you will get it easily open. I just got my documents authenticated at the Panama Consulate in Houston. Oh, hey, Wanda, how are you? Wonderful. That was fast. That was fast because I think we talked yesterday and I didn't know that turnaround was so fast. So you walk in and they gave you the documents it's very easily. So you see, the Panama Consulate seems to be faster than the apostille and cheaper because they charge $30 per each document. That's another thing that you have to compare. I know the apostille, if you do it by yourself, it costs $10. You have to upload the document. But the FBI, it's the thing that is, if you are not in Washington, D.C., you will have to get some assistance or send it there and wait. It's a little bit more complicated, at least for me, because I'm not familiar, right? Great, Wanda. Good job. Do you also help clients open bank accounts as part of your service? Yes, definitely. We will go with you to the bank and get the documents that we need from you, basically your passport and a proof of income. Proof of income, the easiest is your latest tax return. And then if they will open the account with those two documents. Other banks might ask for an address, but with the banks we work with, your passport and a proof of income, you will get your account open the same day. You will get online banking and also a debit card. And also, if you're interested, a credit card. They recently told us that if you're interested in getting some credit in Panama, you could get a bank account, a savings or how do you call it? A savings bank account and a debit card, and then later a credit card that you can support with some money at the beginning until you get credit, and they will give you the credit afterwards. Can I rent apartment with tourist visa? Yes, you could. You could do that. You could stay if you are from Canada or United States, you could stay in Panama for 180 days. If you don't plan to stay for more than 6 months, maybe for short term, you could stay here for a while. Most of the landlords, they prefer 1 year rentals. So if you will stay here as a tourist, you could do it once. At least that's how I think. I don't recommend you to be a perpetual tourist, just maybe at the beginning if you want to explore. And I definitely recommend you to get a residency. Okay, hello. My wife has faint fingerprints and has failed to supply prints to the FBI 5 times. Wow. They are to send the formal rejection letter, they said. Sorry to hear that. That's a problem that we face sometimes with some clients as well, like nurses, and there are some type of professions where you can lose your fingerprints easily, or some persons have some type of disability that prevent them from getting fingerprints. I had a case of a client, and she had that rejection letter, but the problem with Panama is that they don't accept the rejection letter. The FBI won't issue the report. You have to show, I think, 6 or 7 fingerprints at least, so they can issue it. You try 5 times, that's a lot. My advice is that you find a fingerprints company that can get it done, because I had other clients that they have tried many times through the usual way, but they use a type of company that finally, make it through. Because the problem with immigration is that they need this FBI report no matter what. They cannot accept the rejection letter, or a document that says that from your state. It has to be FBI. If you like, send me an email, and I will try to send you this contact. I sent it to someone else, and they said that they are not close to their state. But if you can find this type of private channelers, or fingerprints companies that can do that, sometimes they have better, how do you call that, like better devices to get the fingerprints done. Good luck. Keep me posted. Dear Attorney Bernal, hello, ciao Alessandro. I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to schedule a consultation via Teams to discuss my relocation to Panama. What wonderful, in 2026. Great. Yes, if you're from Italy, you can get permanent residency in less than 6 months, just like Pensionado visa. It's very straightforward. And with your Italian passport, you could obtain the residency stress-free just by setting up a court. So I look forward to speaking with you or talking with you by Teams soon. Question: do I need a bank account in Panama? What if anything should I know about banking in Panama? Thank you. Uh, Someone asked me this question today, and the answer is it depends, because you could open a bank account at any time. You could open it in person, remotely, if it's necessary. If you're purchasing property, I recommend you to open it before you purchase, because it's good to have a bank account here to send the payments, to the owner, or the developer. If it's for paying your rental, or receiving rental income, or paying your rental, I recommend you to open it as well. And if you will be sending payments to the account frequently, or making payments, you can do that as soon as possible. The only thing is that the downside is that if you open a bank account tomorrow, you have it, and then you go back to your country and you forget about it, probably they will suspend the account or frozen it because of no movements, and then you have to go again to the bank to ask them to for the account to be open. They usually close it in some cases, and they give you a check with the money that was there. Then you have to do the process again to activate the bank account. So I recommend you that you plan opening the bank account when you will start needing it, just when, not only when you're visiting or just to have it there, unless you will use it for depositing, maybe monthly something. If you have Wise, you can optimize the commissions, because if you use traditional banks, sometimes your bank will charge $40, or sometimes nothing. You have to ask your bank in your country, and in Panama they always charge 37.50, $37 every time we receive money from international wire transfers. Hello, how do I build credit? Mostly for auto loan appliances in Panama. Do I have to wait for my permanent visa, or I can start with my temporary visa? Well, a way to build credit loan is by having a credit card. For example, Banismo, they can open a savings account, and also you get a MasterCard debit card, and they can give you a credit card that you can put money there as a warranty, and then through that way you can start getting some credit. Another thing is that they want to see your income, where your income's coming from. If you're purchasing real estate or if you're acquiring a mortgage, they are good with your latest tax returns and your bank movements. For auto loan, I'm not 100% sure. That might be like that type of personal loan, and I'm not familiar with their requirements, but I'm pretty sure that they will need also to show a type of salary. I'm not sure if it can be international in this case, but I know that you could get credit with Panismo. If I already had my FBI report apostille, but it's from last year, do I have to do it again? Okay, well, good question. Good question. Yes. Well, the documents for Panama visa are good for 6 months. If it was from October, you will have to be here, by next month. The thing is that they're good for 6 months, which means that you have to visit Panama and process your visa within 6 months. So my advice is that you have to plan when will you be in Panama. So if you're visiting in May, start now, not a problem. Calculate when you will be here, because by the way, by the time the application is submitted, the documents needs to be still good for within 6 months, and the date that we will see, or immigration, if they're valid or not, is the date of issue. If it's your background check the date on top. If it's your marriage certificate, usually they have a date that says issue date in the bottom of the document. If it's your pension letter, Social Security, VA, or letter from state, usually it's like a letter. It has an issue date. That's the date. It's not the date on the apostille. It's the date on the document was issued. What is your address to FedEx documents that have been authenticated, Social Security documents and FBI report? Oh yes, Wanda. We have the address is usually our office in Panama City, and we'll be sharing that to you by tomorrow. We'll send you the address. We are in the Global Bank Tower. It's in the city center. Maybe you can see a little bit of the background, and it's like calle 50. It's in the city center. The documents are sent directly to our office, and then we will confirm that you're good to let us know your dates, schedule an appointment so you could start the visa and get your temporary ID card. Does Chase Bank or Bank of America has branches there? Huh. Okay. Well, no, we don't have American banks. We used to have Citi. We have Citi for some institutional clients, not really retail. But what you can do is that you can open any with all of the Panamanian banks we have here. Most of our banks are regional, which means they belong to banks or groups from Colombia, Central America, South America, and some of them are also from Panamanian capital. They're good. They work with international banks, so you could easily wire from your account in Chase or Bank of America to our accounts in USD, because we manage the USD in Panama, so that's also not an issue. To confirm, the only thing that must be within 6 months is a criminal background check, Canadian reference. As for all other documents, then can be over 6 months. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Thank you for asking the question. In Panama, for any visa process, all documents need to be within 6 months. That's super important. And because the immigration office, when they receive the file, they will check each document. Like, they're very strict with that. Like, okay, they count and they say, no, this one doesn't work. No, this one doesn't work. We cannot submit the application. So it has all documents. Like, if you're from Canada, your RCMP, if you're pensionado, your CPP letter, as a proof of income. If you are adding marriage certificate, also it's check on the date of issue on the document. So everything is within 6 months. Okay. I plan to visit in April 2026. Great. Oh, hi, Sandra. What should be my first step for applying for a Pensionado visa? I'm 69 years old. My Social Security and pension is more than enough. Yes, perfect. Congratulations. We look forward to receiving you in Panama. And what you have to do, your first step is print out your Social Security benefit letter. That works very well. If you have access to the websites on Social Security, just log in and download the Social Security benefit letter. It's a 2-page document that says your name, date, and the amount of the pension starting when you're receiving it. And it has to be, for example, if you start receiving benefits in January this year, you could request your permanent residency this year, but it cannot be before you start receiving benefits. Like, if I know it's not your case, but if you're 62 and you will start applying, you will have to wait until the letter says that you're receiving documents and you're receiving benefits for us to apply. And your Social Security letter is fine with your FBI report. That's it. You don't need anything else. You don't need birth certificate or other documents that maybe you read somewhere else. It's just only those two. You can use the FBI formal rejection letter to have it apostilled and turn in to the consulate or embassy of the country that you'll be getting a visa for. They are used to seeing these letters. Yes, I had a case like this with a client last year, and I called the FBI. I remember they said to me that they could issue a rejection letter, and I remember I was checking with the immigration office to the head of admissions, and he told us that they need a background check, and in the case of US is FBI. So that I was checking that other countries might accept this letter with state the background check from the state. But what they told us is that they really need this FBI report. So this is why my advice was that I know you tried 5 times, but my advice was trying to see, because I had other cases where they were able to get it with a more specialized fingerprint company. Because see if the FBI can issue it anyway, because with these 6 or 7 fingerprints, I know you can get it, but I'm not sure if it's the case of your wife. I have some specific questions regarding the due diligence forms and some questions on the other forms. Okay, if you are referring to the due diligence that we do for when someone set up a Panama company, the best way is to schedule a call with us, or and then we will explain step by step, in case you have questions, or just call our number so we could explain in detail how to fill them up. I know that sometimes it can be overwhelming fill up compliance documents, because in Panama, attorneys that are real registered agents and like banks, we have to know our clients very well, so we need to know your name, your address, your tax ID number, how proof of income, your financial profile, and some information that I know it's not very common to fill up, and you'd have questions. So we'll definitely can help you. And when contact us, you can contact us tomorrow. If you got to Panama and apply for the Pensionado program, how are your bank funds investments treated for tax purposes? Are your capital gains reported to your home country for taxes? Okay. Um, I don't know where you're from or where's your tax residency. You apply for Pensionado. But anyway, Panama has a territorial tax system, which means that we don't tax your capital gain in Panama. Uh, we won't also report a capital gain as a way of exchange of information between Panama and your country of residency. For example, let's say you're from the US. Panama and the United States have are an exchange of information tax treaty, which means that Panama every year before the 31st of December needs to exchange information of all Americans that have bank accounts in Panama, bank accounts. In this case, no capital gains, but if you have a bank account, this is why when you open a bank account in Panama, they will ask you for a W-9 form, because that's for FAT, it's called FATCA, and it's exchange of information, where it's not only Panama, all the countries in the world, they need to do this for United States, exchange information on bank accounts. That you have to, you have to do some reporting on foreign bank accounts you own. That's not my area of expertise, but I know that there's a minimum amount and you have to make some reporting. But yes, capital gain in Panama is not taxed. And we exchange when you have financial products like bank accounts, stocks, and also trust accounts. Is it possible to schedule an in-person consultation with you? Oh yes, definitely. An important thing is that if you are visiting Panama in person, it's important that you stay for, if you're opening a Panama company for your visa, that we do that remotely before you arrive, because opening a Panama company will and getting a tax ID will take us 1 or 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, the two things. So if you are doing the Friendly Nations visa by setting up a court, we have to do this in advance. If you are visiting Panama just because you already booked your tickets and you're visiting soon, you're welcome to be here and fill up the information, start the company at any time, and then make a second trip to do the to do your visa, because I had some clients that sometimes they come to the office like, okay, I'm ready, but then their documents are not apostilled, and we can do that remotely if they're visiting for good, staying here to live, but sometimes they only come for 1 week. So that's important, to have everything completed before arrival. And I have other cases that they watch the videos like right now, and they get so familiar, with the information that we provide or others provide, that they're ready, and they say, okay, I'm scheduled a consultation in person because I'm ready. That's That's also possible. I had a client like this. He wrote us 2 weeks ago. He visited last week, and I saw him this morning just with his temporary, like very quick. And he just watched videos. That's what he said. So, but yes, it's important, to make sure that it's just consultation. You're free to do that at any time. Two Canadian citizens planning to retire in Panama within next 2 years. Ooh, congratulations. We purchased a condo. Can your expertise help us apply for Pensionado visa despite the price of condo under 100K? Well, I guess that you are not receiving. If you mention you purchase a condo, it's because you are from Canada, but you are not receiving enough CPP or pension or annuity. That's $1,000 a month. And since you purchase a condo and it's less than 100K, it's not possible to do that under Pensionado, because under Pensionado visa, you, besides getting the income of 1,000 USD a month, you could also apply with 750 a month with a purchase on a personal name of a property that's at least 100K. That's in the law. I don't know that there is an exception on that, because that's very written in the law as it is. So you would have to accommodate and maybe get. I'm not sure how much was the condo, but if you would have to add up so it's 100K at least. If you can add some sort of additional annuity plan to combine with what you are getting, or combine with if you have a spouse together. Hi, Derek. Do Panama banks use the same credit bureaus as the US? No, it's different. We have APC Experian, and I know in the US you have Experian. But it was before, it was called APC, Autoridad Panameña de Crédito, which is like your bureau. They see our credit scores and all that. They follow that, but it's separate. It's totally separate. Yeah, the points that you will lose and you will get, and it is different. It's based solely on the credit that you create once you live here and you start creating credit with Panamanian banks. How long it will take you to go to the whole process for residency? Okay, the timeline is like this. First, you have to do consultation by teams. You know how to do the process. You know the step by step in a conversation, and also with written information. So you have to know what to do, how to get your documents and get that done, and send them to Panama, right, in original. At the same time, once you get the documents authenticated, you have to schedule a first trip to Panama. Stay here for at least 5 working days. And then during that week, you will receive your temporary ID card. That's for 6 months. No matter your visa process, all the visa processes will give you a 6-month temporary. At this time, you can go back to your country, or you can stay. Panama is very flexible on that. The next time you visit is for your approval on your residency. So the next time you be back, you don't need a round trip ticket. You can buy a one-way, if you plan to stay, of course, and do the line for residents at the airport. And during that second trip, you get your ID for residency, whether it's Pensionado visa or Friendly Nations, the 1-year residency that's for US citizens, student visa, and it doesn't matter. You have to be here 4 days, 3-4 days, depending on the visa. If you get in cedula, I recommend that you stay here at least 4 working days. 1 day for the immigration, 1 day for the e-cedula, because there are 2 separate offices. One office is for immigration, where you go the first time. And if you are getting a cedula under your visa process, you will have to do on your second trip 2 visits, one immigration and another for we call it Tribunal Electoral. Tribunal, some people call it tribunal, or civil registry is another separate building where you get your cedula, your ID for your discounts as pensionado if you're under that visa. How long is taking to get FBI report? Well, you know that I've been hearing that it's taking a few hours if you do the 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 request at a USPS office location. If you like, you can schedule a consultation with us, or ask us for the step-by-step process, or you can go directly on the FBI website and click on history summary check. It will take you to another page where you have to put your email, fill up a form, schedule an appointment at your USPS postal service location near you with your zip code. You go there on that date, do the fingerprints at their device machine, and I understand that in a few hours or by the next day, they'll send it to your email. So that's, in my experience or what I've seen from our clients, the best, the fastest way. If you live in Panama full time, is it better to purchase a car? Well, if you live in Panama City and you like to drive, you could have a car. Also, if you think you'll be commuting, or you won't live in the city center, I recommend you to have a car. For example, if you will live in Brisas or Clayton or Panama Pacifico, which is a little bit not so in the city center, I recommend you to purchase a car. I have a car because I like to move, by car to different places, and I'm used to driving here. Some people don't like because they say it's a little bit crazy, the traffic, and we're a little bit more aggressive driving than other countries. Maybe it's better than in other countries. I don't know, depending on the person's experience, but in general, the expats, they use Uber because Uber is very cheap in comparison to other countries. So if, for example, from our office to El Cangrejo or to San Francisco, it's like $2, $3 USD, $4. If you go to the immigration office from here, it can be $6, $7, right? Which is a little bit far, like 30 minutes from here. But in general, around Panama City, you pay from $2 to seven, eight. If you go Costa del Este, which is further Panama, after near the airport, you just from here to the airport will be like 16, $20, which is far. The airport is far from here. So just for you, Hannah, and have an idea. So definitely a car is very flexible if you think you're going to be moving a lot. If not, then Uber is very easy. I'm specifically interested in applying for the Pensionado visa. Oh, great. I'm already aware of the general document requirements: pension certificate, criminal record, passport. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. That's better. With the Pensionado visa, yes, you could also easily get permanent residency without creating any company. So that's perfect. If I bring a new FBI report, can I have it authenticated there in Panama? Uh-huh. Okay. There are companies here that they can do that for you sometimes. They can do the FBI and the apostille for you. It will cost you hundreds of dollars once you're here. If you bring it, you could, what we do sometimes to help our clients is that we send the FBI to the Panama Consulate in Tampa or Long Beach or Washington by email, because they can accept it by email, and you can send it by email as well to them, and they will send it back to you if you pay them the DHL or the FedEx. But if you plan to do the visa in Panama and you bring it here for consultation, and you're staying for a short time, it is likely that the timing won't be enough. Sometimes we had to rush and to get it done within a week. Sometimes the Panama consulates are busy and their turnaround is about 1 week. So it depends on how long you'll be in Panama. My advice: do it now. I'm not sure where you're visiting, but if you can, send it to them by email tomorrow, and call them and tell them that you can. The one in California, in Long Beach, they accept payments to their Bank of America bank account. You can pay them and then send them the payment for their FedEx, and they can send it to you. That's what we do. The one in Houston also, but we have to make a payment at the or some offices in Panama, public office, the Maritime Authority, and also they can do it that way. But again, it's better to do it if you're in the US. Get your paperwork in the US or in your country, Canada, country in Europe. Do it in your country of origin because it's best. Once you're in Panama, things tend to be more time because we are doing things remotely from here, and it can take more time to follow up as well. Can one set up? Okay. Do you have to? Oh, sorry. Can one set up a bank account that does not pay interest and therefore not to report any foreign income for tax reporting? Okay, that's a tax question. The exchange of information is not based on the interest you get for income purposes. It's more on the financial assets that you hold outside of your country of origin. If you're from the US, it's FATCA. If you are from Canada or Italy, it's called CRS. So it's not because of of course, everything is at the end of the day is related to your passive income that you have in on your bank account, and interest and dividends, and you can receive or from that maybe you are not reporting it, or you didn't know you have to report it, but they will exchange information just because you open a financial. It's from the exchange of information is from financial entities, banks, trustees, brokerage firms that are in Panama. In Panama or elsewhere, it's the same everywhere. The only country that doesn't exchange information is the United States. Do you have a living address to apply for and obtain Pensionado visa? Well, yes, it is quite custom that we can help clients with an address. They can start, and once they sign a rental, they can update that. We can help you update the information at the immigration office. You have 30 days to update that information from the date you sign a rental agreement. But at the beginning is definitely, if you are a couple, you are applying as a couple, you will need an address. We can help you with one address. And then if you are single, you don't need an address. A hotel, Airbnb is fine. Hi, Margaret. Good to see you. Hola, Giovanna. If retiring in July 2026, we're almost there. How soon do we need to schedule an appointment with you and your team? I would say as soon as possible, because it's good to plan ahead. Sometimes I speak with people that they like I did with you a few years ago, that you are planning, so you can start, and then when you start in June, you can start applying for July. You know what to do. You can do it. I would say 3 months before July, maybe in April, or you can do it now, and then you can know what are the next steps. And you remember that you have to make a trip to Panama as soon as you're able to print out your benefit letter. Congratulations. Will USA driver license work, or do we need a Panama issue one? Good question. You can validate your driver license from the US by scheduling an appointment with the US Embassy in Panama. But first, you will need to schedule an appointment at the US Embassy, and they will issue a letter that will be used for getting an appointment at the CERTRACEN, which is our driver license office. You need a blood test and schedule an appointment with them as well. That document that is issued by the US Embassy needs to be a stamp. The best I would advise is that you can hire a fixer or an attorney or a person that can do this on a daily basis, and you don't have to do this. So some people do it on their own, but it's a process, right? Schedule an appointment at the US Embassy, get a letter with your license, a certification that says that your driver license is valid, get it authenticated at our Foreign Affairs office, and then schedule an appointment with the driver license office and the blood test. Basically, it's like that. And then you have to renew it every 4 years if you're less than 70 years old. To further clarify, do you mean the Canadian Global Affairs letters for certification must be within 6 months? I assume you do not mean the original documents themselves. I mean the date that is on the document. So if you're from Canada and they give you a CPP letter, which is the old age retirement letter, when they issue a letter, there's a date on it because it has to be a recent letter. If you're married and you have your marriage license from 30 years ago, we cannot use that one. First, because immigration office will keep all originals, and second, because all documents are valid for 6 months. So if you have an RCMP that you had requested for your job or for, how do you call it, clearance, when you need it for sometimes for some assignments, you cannot use that one because they need it, has to be current. Really, the date of issue is like the day when they print it out, it shows a date on it. That's the day they look at. Let me know if it was clear. Do you help with setting up Panama Foundation or Trust? Definitely yes. We help with the Panama Foundation. We cannot set up trust in Panama. Trust are more complex vehicles. They are supervised by our superintendency of banks, and you can find trustees that are owned by banks and some law firms in Panama. If you prefer a trust, I can recommend to you a trustee. You know that we can recommend to you. Also, for some visas, you need trust when you purchase property for qualifying investor visa, and we work with them. But definitely the Panama Foundation, if you purchase in real estate, put in bank money there to avoid probate, for succession planning, the Panama Foundation is very useful. It's not that costly. There's a setup cost and a maintenance fee that's done every year. And it's like you will be stress-free from purchasing when you purchase real estate. I really recommend it when you purchase real estate, or if you think you will have assets in Panama. For FBI rejections, don't use UPS workstations. Oh, thank you for sharing that information. Go to US Post Office. They are better trained. Had the same problem for my wife's fingerprints, but Post Office ensure that the captures are good. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Mohammed. That's very useful for those, because I know that some people try with some companies and then others will do the work, will do the job. So thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate. Hi, Todd. How are you? Good to see you. Have people in the US make sure they check with Consulate they are using, because some require documents to be notarized. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for clarifying this before they will process them. And it is true. I remember the Panama Consulate in Tampa, I think you mentioned it, was requesting the FBI report to be notarized. And it's good. Thank you so much for the advice. That is good to call, check with the consulate when you do it, because the experience of someone was different. Sometimes they change their procedures. For example, the Social Security letter, most of the pension letters that are from the US, they have no signature. You just print it from the website. So this is why it needs a notary before you take it to the Panama Consulate. Some consulates have notary services. Now the one in Tampa has a notary. The one in Houston, I believe, has a notary near them, but it's best to clarify every time. You can call them. Sometimes they won't send emails back, depending on which consulate you're working with, but try to call during the working hours. They can let you know the process. Do I have to obtain a driver license in Panama? Well, it depends. Not necessarily. If you don't plan to drive in Panama, you don't need one. Some people need it because they will go to explore. They go to Boquete by car or go to Chitre, Pedací, to the beaches, Coronado, Gorgona. And in those places, I would recommend to have cars because there's no much Uber. There is taxi. You could take a taxi, but like I said, it depends on how much you think you will need it. Some people need a car. Buying a car in Panama is not expensive. You can purchase a second-hand car, or a new car as well. So yes, I don't recommend you to ship your car unless it's a very, very, very nice car that you really love and don't cannot find it here. But Uber, if you will live in Panama City, Uber is best. For those who bought a condo prior to becoming non-resident, if you declare non-resident with CRA, it will be assessed as if you sold it at market value and tax on the value. Thank you so much for sharing that information, because it's important. It's important for those that are under this situation. Are there a lot of blackouts in Panama? It depends. Sometimes there are some. It depends on the time, but I can tell you, maybe in my experience today, we had one in the office, but I don't remember when was the last one I experienced. In this building, most of the buildings will have a power. How do you call that? Plant where you could get electricity after if there is a blackout. But yes, it's sometimes, I think, a couple of times in a year, maybe, and depend also on where you are located, because the interior sometimes we don't have that in houses and things like that. Or sometimes it's good to have to have something to protect your electricity, because electricity devices, just to protect in case. But today we had one, but I don't remember when was the last time we experienced one. Maybe in a year, but I don't remember. Hi, if I understood you correctly, I can send my documents to Panamanian Consulate. I was under the impression that I had to personally go to the consulate. Please confirm. Well, if you are in Houston, like one that she mentioned, she went to Houston in person and she got it. You could definitely walk in. If you walk in, you get documents quickly. You go there, give to them, pay, and get them back straight away, right? But if you're far, I spoke today with a lady that was from Washington State. There's no Panama consulate there, and maybe the closest that has jurisdiction in that state is the one in California, in Long Beach. So she cannot go there in person. I mean, she can. Some people say, "Oh, I can drive to Tampa. I would like to go there from Georgia. It's close to me." Or some people say, "Oh, I have to go to visit my daughter in Washington. I will do it there." You can walk in. That's not a problem. But if you're far away, you definitely need to send them with a prepaid envelope and attaching a money order with a cover letter and telling them, please authenticate my FBI report or this and that, and this is my payment. And then with a prepaid FedEx or postal service, they'll send it back to you. Using the Friendly Nations visa for starting a business. Can the Panama Business LLC be owned by a holding company, which is owned by both husband and wife applying for the visa? Yes, definitely yes. You can use one business for a couple. And the Friendly Nations visa, for those that don't know, has two options. One is the investment by purchasing real estate or a fixed term deposit, but also you could start a business in Panama and be self-employed under your own Panamanian LLC. In that case, yes, a family can apply. Parents can also be part of it. But with parents, I recommend Pensionado visa because it's faster than friendly nations. And under the friendly nations visa, you get permanent residency after 2 years, and under the Pensionado, within 6 months. But a couple, in your case, it is perfectly doable that you do that through Panama company that's owned by a holding. That's fine. It can be owned by anybody because this is a type of work reason for work reasons. Also, if you find a job in Panama, an employer can hire you and you could apply with their offer, with a letter from them. In this case, it will be yours, so it can be owned. Yesterday I talked with a lady that she told me she's setting up her business. She's extending her film business in Panama, and she's adding her daughter, so she's hiring her daughter, to work for her company. So that's totally fine. My husband and I plan to move to Panama permanently. Great. In late 2026 or early 2027. Great. Can we come and get a pensionado visa without permanent address, or do we have to wait until we move? You could definitely secure your visa as soon as possible. The most important thing is that you have to be able to show the documents that you need for your visa. If you're able to do that right now, I would recommend you to start getting your residency. With residency, you can get driver license. With residency, it's easier to open a bank account at all of the Bank of Panama, and also you can have that already, check on your checklist for relocation to Panama. A word of advice: if you're not planning to live in Panama, don't open a bank account. Thank you. In Panama, use US account. It is a nightmare reporting to IRS. Oh, thank you for let us that. The reporting, right? That's also a good point, right? It's true, because if you're from the US, the reporting can be more paperwork to do. That's also a good point. Thank you for sharing that. I actually recommend you to open the bank account if you will purchase real estate, if you will have money to pay in Panama your expenses and things like that, right? But not just like you mentioned, Mohammed. Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate. So I can get my FBI check apostille at the consulate. I thought only FBI could do that. FBI can issue the history summary check, which is the document that says that you don't have previous arrest data. The apostille is done at consulate. That's the second step. First step, you get the summary history check, the report by the FBI. The FBI don't do apostille. The FBI is done, the apostille is done by the Department of State in Washington or a Panama consulate. So that's the second step. Okay, thank you, Giovanna. I look forward to meeting you in person next month. Great. I look forward to meeting you as well. Here we are. I won't have my statement of income until April 2026. I see. When should I set up my consultation? Well, April 2026 is very soon for this. We talk with individuals that are applying May, June, that are visiting in August, that are preparing for the end of the year, that are visiting in 3 years. It really depends, on your case. But just remember that documents are good for 6 months. I cannot stress that more because it's important. That needs to be done. So if you plan to get that letter in April or May, then you could organize a trip July, maybe June, August, and you can start consultation. You can request your FBI report already. Just when you get this letter in April or May, you issue it and get a apostille, and then schedule your trip to Panama. Giovanna, does the postal service, DHL, UPS, FedEx work the same way in Panama as it does in the US? If not, what do you recommend to receive deliveries? Thank you. Okay, my pleasure. Yes, in Panama, we UPS, DHL, FedEx, Copa Courier, They work the same way as it does in the US. The only difference you will tell me is that I understand FedEx is more reliable in some states. In Panama, is the opposite. In general, we use DHL for legal documents and for law firms. We use DHL more. I understand that in FedEx is used more in the US, but it works the same, and they are also very fast. They deliver documents in 2 days, usually to Europe, US, Canada, Latin American countries. Hi, sweetie. Thanks very much for your help here. My pleasure. Can you help me with buying property in Panama through a company? I will need company too. Oh, yes, you're very welcome. We also help you with that. Think about if you need a company or a private foundation, because sometimes you do need a private foundation just because if you have children and you or if even if you don't have children, you have a niece, or you have to plan your future, succession planning. I would recommend you set up a private foundation. If you think you purchase for the long term, if you think you're purchasing and sell, a company will be better perhaps for investment purposes, or if you are structuring your assets with a company and the shares will be on your LLC in the US or a trust, that type of structures, then a company is good. But if you are someone that is selling your house in the US, or even keep it but is in a separate trust, and then Panama purchase in real estate, I would prefer the private foundation, just because if you set up a Panama LLC or a Panama corporation, the shares will be on your name, and when you pass away, the shares will need to go probate, and it can be a little bit of a headache of the heirs to visit Panama, hire an attorney, or send documents, apostille, and all that paperwork, and wait for 1 or 2 years at least for that process. It can take some time. It's just because of that I recommend that this vehicle instead. What about the international driver license from AAA? Unfortunately, the international driver license is not accepted here. The police will ask for the Panamanian one for those that are residents. If you're just a tourist, you could use your US driver license for 90 days. If we find apartment to rent in Panama, how much does your office charge to review the lease? Usually it's around 250 for a review of a rental. We review that the property is on the name of the landlord, also make a due diligence on the property, and also give you comments on the terms and condition on the rental agreement. Vice Minister of International Commerce Eduardo Arango on I Am Daily said Panama would grant citizenship after 5 years on the qualified investor visa. Oh, I saw that. Someone shared with me that picture. I don't know if it was you, but on WhatsApp, I saw that question. Doing minimal presence. Is that your understanding too? I also saw that information, and I know I Am Daily as well. Their immigration magazine, and I saw also that this is Eduardo Arango is our Vice Minister for Commerce. He mentioned that. So what I understand, this is not official, like in paper, like by a law, but what they're saying is that with the qualified investor visa, it is likely that you will get citizenship faster than with the usual way. Because in the traditional way, after 5 years, you are eligible for citizenship. That's in our constitution. For those that live in Panama for 5 years, are eligible for citizenship. There are some exceptions, like if you're from Colombia, in 1 year you get citizenship. If you're from Spain or I think Uruguay, some other countries, it's in less. But if you're from US, Canada, it's 5 years. So that's what I understand they meant. But yeah, that's interesting that if they can speed up the process. But it's in our constitution, it's 5 years. With a qualifying visa, you can get a travel passport right now. This is something new as well. Like let you travel without your passport. But we'll see how it goes because this is new. Thanks so much for answering my question. Your pleasure, Alice. Alicia. We'll be coming on VIP tour. Sometimes they say, "Oh, great! I look forward to meeting you." I usually join the welcome dinner at the VIP tour, so if you'll be there, I'll meet you in person. That's great. Let me know. If I have problems with immigration at the airport, could you talk to them to assure that I'm visiting to obtain my Pensionado visa? Why do you think you will have problem at the airport? Because usually you shouldn't. If you're visiting just the first time you visit Panama as tourist, in general they don't ask so many questions. But the first time, maybe they ask you, where are you staying? I don't know, if you enter as a tourist, you can share your in the comments. Well, how is your experience when you enter the first time? But usually they stamp your passport, ask you what is the number of the flight, and let you in. If you are from a nationality that is restricted or not so common nationality, or is a nationality that receive many immigrants here, sometimes they ask more questions like, what are you doing here, if you're coming for work or not. And they are trained to ask questions when they think there might be a risk of someone that is planning to be in Panama illegal to work and things like that. They might ask some questions, in my experience. They ask for sometimes they ask for if you have a check of 1,000 USD. But in general, they ask you if you have resources to live here, but you just say credit card and you have your savings, things like that. But pensionado, you have a pension. I don't think you will face trouble. Some might face trouble if they are from a country like Middle East, or some countries in Africa, or countries that Panama is not familiar with. Sometimes they ask more questions, and they maybe you will have trouble. The problem is that I cannot help so much, because if you experience a situation like that, or sometimes your name is the same as someone else's name, because they control for security purposes people. And if your name is the same, they might put you in a little room and wait until they finish their investigation, right? So I had a case like that. I think it was a pensionado, but it was um, false positive in their alert, and they let him leave in a few hours, right? I cannot go there because they don't let attorneys go inside. Sometimes what we do is that we chat or call the immigration office at airport. But you will have to let me know more to know if I can help you. But in general, if you are a regular pensionado, you shouldn't have any problem. If an American came to Panama for residency, can his Cuban wife come a tourist visa, or can she come under different visa? It is easier for a Cuban wife to get visa if the husband. Okay. Yes, if you are an American that's getting residency, permanent residency, you could add her in your process. No matter her nationality, that's not a problem. If she's from Cuba, she will need a tourist visa first. And once she has a tourist visa, she could apply for permanent residency through you as your dependent. That's the step-by-step process, because some countries like Cuba, Venezuela, China, they need a tourist visa to enter Panama for 30 days. If she has US visa, she could enter Panama without tourist visa, because if you have visa from Canada, US, European Union, and Singapore, Korea, and Japan, you can enter Panama without a tourist visa if you're from those countries that are restricted for 30 days. Panama does not recognize dual citizenship. I'm good with pensionado. Don't want to give up US citizenship. Well, this is something that needs to be clarified, because when you get in residency, exactly, when you get in residency, you don't need to how to say, to resign to the U.S. citizenship. We don't recognize dual citizenship when you apply for citizenship, right? But if you are a Panamanian born abroad and you have U.S. citizenship, you could get your other nationality. So it depends on the case. On the case, it's a case by case situation. And yes, when you resign your U.S. citizenship, you do it in written. You will have to write when you're requesting the Panama citizenship that you are renouncing to the U.S. That's it. This has been a wonderful session. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Wanda. See you soon. We'll be in touch. Does the Cuban wife have to wait so long to get a visa if her American husband moves to Panama? Does the husband have to get permanent residency first before she can get residency visa? Not necessarily, but you have to make sure that she gets her visa. It takes the stamp visa, tourist visa stamp for Cubans can take a few months. Is if she doesn't have a visa from US, Canada, like I mentioned. So you could add her with she can be in your visa process, but just make sure she has a way to enter as a tourist first, having a stamp visa in her passport. The minister said one brief trip every year would get, oh, your citizenship, right, right, eligibility after 5 years. That is my question. Do you think we'll get the qualifying investor visa holders will get citizenship after 5 years with low presence? Okay, got it, got it. Yes, yes. I know what you mean. I also saw that in the news. I also saw that in the news. As soon as it's official, I will let you know. I'll talk about it. It's not official yet, but it's good news that he said that they would have to Ministry of Commerce will have to discuss that with immigration, because the citizenship is issued by immigration, and as soon as they're connected and they issue a type of resolution or document that says that minimum present is allowed, that's perfect. Because to be honest, there is no particular time that you need to show that you're in Panama, but of course, immigration office like to see that you live here or you have some sort of connection with the country, right? That you work, that you earn money here, that you invest here, that you live here. But it's not a particular amount of time that you need to show. Even to keep your permanent residency, one entry is enough. One entry after every 2 years. So, but yes, thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. We'll keep you posted, Aaron. They only ask you where you're staying in Panama. How many days are you going to be there? Okay, at the airport they only ask you where are you staying. Okay, you stay in a hotel, you stay in an Airbnb, you visiting, you traveling. That makes sense. How many days are you going to be there, and what is your job? Okay, that's similar. The same way when I go to the US, they ask me those very same questions, like it's usual. That's good. Thank you for sharing, Derek. If I'm born in Puerto Rico, would the citizenship process take 2 years like the other countries of Latam or Spain? Puerto Rico, I think it will be only 5 years. I don't think there is a type of exemption, a waiver of time. It should be 5 years. Can you add same-sex spouse and stepchild? Okay. In Panama, same-sex marriage is not allowed yet. So what they accept is a marriage certificate, right, from not same-sex couples. But what you could do is that you could apply with single applications, and stepchild, the parent that has full custody has to apply and add it in the application as a dependent. So the other parent will need to will give permit, or if one parent has full custody, can take your stepchild. but you cannot take your stepchild in your application because they will see birth certificate to make sure the the relationship, right, in the through a legal document. That's unless you have full custody. Mhm. Thank you very much. I think we're good with the questions. I really, appreciate that you've been here. Remember that we do this every month. So if you have questions, always you are free to schedule a free consultation with us. We offer a complimentary consultation 101, and we are happy to guide you. Send us emails as well, so we guide you in your visa process. And yes, thank you. I appreciate for you being here again, and I'll see you next time. Have a lovely night.